That's right. Your boy is under 200 pounds. Now this is huge for me. Well, I guess small. I used to be 245 at the end of February because I was doing shot put for my school, and so I put on a ton of weight. And I told myself that I wanted to get down to 225 by graduation, which was end of May, so I nailed that. 2 months, lost 20 pounds. And then I wanted to lose the other 25 pounds and get down to 200 by the end of August, kind of the end of summer, if you will. And with a couple days left to spare, I did it. I am so stoked on this because there were so many times where I was like trying to lose it, and it was like, God, I'm going backwards. I'm not losing anything right now, and oh, it was so frustrating. But to be here at the 200 before my cutoff date to make it feels unreal. So I thought I would just take some time to give you my thoughts on being 200, kind of my journey and body image type thoughts. And then I want to give you guys some practical tips of what I did that helped me achieve this goal of losing so much weight in just 5 months. So I ended up taking some pictures of myself back at my max weight of 245. And I think the thing that surprises me with the pictures I took today that compares them is how big I was. Now, I mean, I wasn't, obese. I was very strong. I was, an athlete, so I wasn't just putting fat on. It was a lot of muscle. But I didn't realize how big I was when I was that big. When I'm at school, most of the people I was with were smaller. They were just not big individuals. And so when all you see are people of a specific size, you kind of just assume that you're the same. And unless I saw myself in a picture with those people, like I didn't realize how big I was. It's different seeing like perspective as opposed to when you're looking in a mirror and it's like, oh yeah, this is you. And that's it. There's nothing else to get perspective there. You don't see how big somebody else looks in that mirror. And then when you walk around, you like might look down to people or up to people if they're bigger or smaller than you, but you don't really get this perspective of like total body size comparison unless it's in some sort of picture. So when I look at these, I'm like, man, I was a big boy. And I don't even, when all my friends were like, Ryan, you're massive, like I didn't understand. But like, guys, I get it. I was big. And that's not to say that I thought that I looked bad at that weight. Do I prefer being this way now? Yeah, because what I want to do is smaller people activities. But at the time when all I wanted to do was be as big as possible to lift as much weight as possible and move as much weight as possible, I was pretty stoked on the size I was. So, I think they're two different body types for two different things. And, as you look at the different comparisons, you can see that, they are what they are. They're not better or worse. They're just more functional for one thing or another. So now that I'm this size, I feel a lot better climbing. I still think that I might want to lose a little bit more weight. Maybe push it to like 190, 180-ish by the end of the year. I'm not sure, don't hold me to it. But I'm putting in thoughts on that because it would be beneficial to be smaller for climbing. And that's the whole reason that not the whole reason, but that's a big reason as to why I started this whole attempt to lose weight. Anyway, whether or not I actually go through with that, I'll probably do it. At this point, I'm so used to eating healthy that, like, to go back to eating food all the time would just, like, not... I just probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. It'd probably make me feel real bad all the time, and I don't want to do that. So I'll probably just kind of keep losing weight, but it won't be as active of a decision. Going along with that, I thought that I would just share 3 practical tips for you guys that really helped me lose the weight that I lost. Tip number 1 is portion size. Whatever you're trying to do with your body, your portion size is going to be a huge thing that impacts the results of what you're doing. When I was trying to put on weight, I was eating a ton because my body was trying to build up a whole bunch of muscle and weight. And so I got used to having a large stomach that could eat a lot. And I had people that said that I ate in one meal what they would eat in a whole day. And I think that is just what allowed my body to build up as big as it was. But when it came time to lose weight, all of a sudden I had to draw back the amount that I was eating. And that was super hard for me, because all of a sudden I was no longer able to just eat whatever I wanted. I had to think about what I was eating, make sure that it was giving me enough fuel even though I wouldn't feel full. And so it was super difficult to be in this place of, okay, I've eaten all that I need to for my body's sake, but my tummy thinks it's hungry. And so for the longest time, my stomach has been slowly shrinking back to a regular human size. And it's been hard, because it's telling me that it's not full. And so it's slowly going down and down, but that doesn't, make me any less hungry in the moment. But now that I'm here at the weight that I am, and probably closer to the stomach size that I am, my stomach has adjusted, and it now recognizes that when I give it the amount of food that I do, that's the proper amount, and that it should be, happy and full. So it's a long-term thing that really pays off for itself. So when you reduce the amount of carbs that you are using in a day, your body looks for those alternate sources of energy, i.e. fat, and decides, hey, I'm going to use those because I don't have enough of these carbohydrates to go off of. So the less carbs that you can really intake, the more your body is going to get rid of the excess that it already has. Now, you still need to have put carbs into your body. That's still a good thing to do. You just need to make sure that you're not doing it in any excess amount. Tip number 3 is all about keeping yourself in check. Now, what I mean by this is that there should be boundaries in which you do weight loss, or at least I found them to be helpful. So there are certain things that I consume that don't do anything for me other than taste good and be enjoyable kind of in the moment. One of those was beer. So I wanted to decrease the amount of beer I was having. Not that I was having, a ton, but I'd probably have 3 to 6 in a week, depending on the week and who I was seeing. And I decided that was one of the biggest things that was keeping weight on. So I told myself, we need to cut back on this. But I didn't want to cut back to 0 because, come on, let's have a beer, So I stuck with that. Let's have a beer, one single beer a week. And I told myself, if I don't do this, there needs to be some sort of consequence. And what is a consequence that would make me not want to have excess beer in a week? Running. So I said, if I do a second beer in a week, I need to do 3 hill sprints. If I go on to a third beer, then I need to do 4 more hill sprints, so a total of 7. Now, this was just something that helped keep me within, boundaries that were healthy for me to be doing. It wasn't that, I couldn't ever have more than 1 beer a week, because, there was a week or 2 in these past 5 months where I had friends who were having a party, and so I would go and do my hill sprints before the party because I knew that I wanted to have beer there. But it also meant that, there were probably a couple weeks where I didn't have any reason to have a beer, so I just didn't. And I didn't do any hill sprints because, F those, I didn't want to. And it's this give and take of yes, you're allowed to have this, but if you do it in excess, there's going to be negative consequences. There's going to be negative consequences for your body, and those are harder for me to kind of comprehend, so I gave myself external ones that are very easy to understand. I don't want to work out and do hard things. So if I have this, donut, I need to work out and do hard things. And that's easier for our minds to understand than, if I have this donut in a couple of, days, it's going to be fat reserves and it's not going to have done anything for me. That's not immediate. I don't see the negative of that, where I see the negative of burpees, you know what I'm saying? So I think that tip number 3 is all about just giving yourself boundaries so that you can enjoy yourself while still keeping it in check. I think all of this really boils down to discipline. It's super easy to go out and eat larger than what I should be eating, but if I'm disciplined, I don't do that. It's super easy to make sure that all of my meals are consisted of simple carbs. But when I'm disciplined, I go out and I find vegetables and I find other things that are better for my body. It's super easy to eat outside of the boundaries that I've set for myself or have extra beer in a week. But when I'm disciplined, I don't do that. And I think no matter what your goal is, it's having these little bits of discipline that really make the difference in the long run. Yeah, there's, those things that'll just like, boom, right there, you have a significant start with whatever it is that you're doing. But it doesn't last. It's super short. It might be really good for a bit, but it won't last the long run. It doesn't quite have the endurance to do what you want it to do. And I think that's where discipline comes in. Is if you set up these tiny areas for you to excel in, then those tiny areas build to slightly bigger areas and eventually allow you to accomplish the goals that you're going for. And I hope that that's what you really get out of this video, is no matter what your goal is, it is doable. You are probably just going to need time and discipline to get there. So I hope that you guys got something out of this video. I hope that, you find a way to apply what I have learned to apply in my own life, and that it encourages you to go towards whatever goals it is that you have set for yourself. Whether it's weight loss, putting on weight, running a marathon, whatever it is, I'm stoked you're going for it. Keep going for it. Take some little steps, get yourself there, and that's it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.